I know, right?
That's amazing. Is it, let's see, it almost looks like one of those things, like, I don't know what they're called, those reflective vests when people are like
It's
doing
not
road
a
trips.
reflective vest. I'm
Okay.
finding a normal filter here. It's not a reflective vest. It's like just like a little, just a comfy sweatshirt.
Definitely. Well, that's what you've got to do. I mean, I've got mine on as well. It's not quite as colorful as yours, but we're
Yeah, mine's very
really
colorful, but not reflective. No.
right. Okay, that's good.
No.
That's good. I love it though. That is super cool. So
Thank you.
you've got the new song out that we've gathered here today to talk about, and that is July. It is a beautiful song. It is
Thank
haunting
you.
in many ways. My first question is the first thing that I thought when I listened to it for the first time. Is it you who did the whistling at the end?
It is not.
No? Okay, okay.
No, if you were to ask me to do that, it would sound like. So that's like the most you'll get out of me.
Okay.
So that's not me. That's PJ.
Gotcha.
And that's actually like a one take deal.
Wow.
So I was like, we should whistle at the end, or like you should do a whistle at the end, you know? Because I'm like, I only really write bridges for a song whenever like I have more to say.
Sure.
If I don't have more to say, I'm more of like a 2 15 seconds type of girl anyways. And that's like why I listen to my favorite songs. Like, let me say my favorite song right now is 2 minutes, and I listen to it all the time.
Wow.
So like, I would say that like, I don't know. I don't really see the point to a lot of bridges if I don't have more to say, you know, because I don't really like a song dragging on too long or like repeating or anything, you know?
Sure.
So I don't know. We just added this whistle, and he just started doing that melody that gets introduced, the da 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 da. And I was sitting there, and I was like, you know, like really quiet because he was recording at the same time.
Of course.
And that was it. And then we took a break and we went to lunch and we came back, and I was like, this is great. And nothing else was changed to the record. Then when we left Bali, all we did was lay down a guitar and very little things that like, and harmonies, and that was about it. And not much has changed on the record than when we left Bali. Yeah.
Wow. Well, since you mentioned your favorite song is 2 minutes, I don't know any songs that are 2 minutes. So you've got to enlighten me. What have you been listening to?
I've been listening to, I would say, my favorite song, let's go through it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's 2 minutes on the dot.
Yeah.
But I would say one of my favorite songs right now is. What's one of our favorite songs right now, Amari? No, but his songs be long. They be long. Okay. So, like, Still Don't Know by Name by Labyrinth, that's 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Or,
Okay.
like, for example, like, okay, Old Town Road, for example. That song is 2 minutes. And, like, it's great. Another one of my favorite songs called Ringtone is 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Wow.
So like
you really are a short song.
Yeah, Acai Bowl Dominic Fike is 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Those are like my most played, my top songs of like whatever are like 2 minutes 37 seconds. Like all of them are really short. I'm looking at my Spotify right now, and all the songs I listen to are really short, unless they're like bands that like, you know, like to do like a 5-minute song, or like The Weeknd, who's doing 8-minute songs now.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's earned that right. He can do whatever he wants, and
yeah,
people will listen
I
to
love
it.
I love it. It's so sick.
But the short song thing is cool too.
If you do like, that's why I'm like, it really depends on like the song and like what you have to say or what you see is fitting for the song. And that's why like July, it could have been 8 minutes or it could have been 2, and it really would have been just as special. But that's just the way that it came out. And yeah.
When you were writing the song, another one of the techniques that I kind of picked up on, because my background is I'm a failed songwriter. I tried to do it and it didn't work, so I ended up doing radio instead. So I noticed these little things at the end. You know, you kind of go into the pre-chorus again, and then rather than leading up to the chorus, or rather than leading up to maybe a second bridge or whatever, you go from pre-chorus to dead silence. And I really feel like that kind of embodies what the song was all about. That it was just, there's a sense of not like, again, please don't take this the wrong way, but it's like a disappointment, like, oh, we didn't get to the chorus again. Like,
Right.
what happened there? And I feel like the song is about that sort of disappointment in a romantic relationship, that it's
it is.
it built up to nothing, you know, and then you literally were able to do that in the song. So it was very clever to see. And
Thank you.
I assume, was that the idea going in, as you kind of wanted to create that?
Well, I mean, really, you probably still don't know my name. I was like, wait, is that in my imagination? Really, like, at the end, yeah, I wanted it to kind of like just cut off with all the harmonies and everything, because I wanted the harmonies to shine.
Yep.
And then when I realized, you know, that's that last line before it, you know, it says, if you want me to leave, then tell me to leave, and baby, I'll go. Mm-hmm. Which is the one time it says it in the song.
Yep.
It just, I wanted it to be left on the repetitiveness of the relationship. That there was no ending to the song, that there was no really, you don't really figure out what happened there. Because really the song is about a repetitive relationship that's going in a circle, and that is really leading to nowhere. And yeah, so like I wanted that to be captured, where there's nothing there's more to say, but nothing left to say at the same time. Sure. So if that makes sense, yeah.
It does, because that's definitely what I hear. It's like, it's almost like, I don't know if you're a big EDM fan, but you know, the most disappointing thing in EDM is when they build and they build and they build and they build and they build, and then they just go to some atmospheric thing, and it's like, what happened there? So it was kind of, with EDM, it's supposed to be party music, but this is not a party song at all. So the not party thing worked so well in July, whereas, you know, in other genres, it would fall on its face. But I heard it immediately the first time. I was like, wow, she really did that on purpose. So
I did. Thank you.
I was double checking that really was the case, and, you know, not just a happy accident. But either way, it would have worked.
Thank you.
Going back a little bit to your Good Cry EP, you know, a lot of those songs are kind of about the same idea. The depression, the relationship issues, the idea that, you know, it's okay to show your emotions about these things, because they're real and they're valid and they matter. They're important, not just to you, but to the people who are surrounding you in your life. I am curious about that EP and July as well, and kind of your music in general. You know, the idea in July of cutting off, there's no happy ending, there's no resolution. Do you feel like in your own personal life that there is a happy ending, that, you know, you're in a better place now, or is that still a work in progress?
I think that no matter where you're at, it's always going to be a work in progress, because there's times where I am great, and then like you can get a big ass explosion out of nowhere of things going on just in life that can really set you back, and that's okay. So I try to not really put a label or like a mark at where I'm at, because then whenever I go higher or lower, it makes me feel bad. So, you know, I don't want to go lower and wish I don't know how to explain it. So I just try to gradually get there, because whenever I am doing really good, right? So I'm doing really good, and then, you know, this quarantine happened, and then I was sick for about 6 days of anxiousness, of throwing up and shaking and sitting in the fetal position for 6 days, not being able to eat or drink anything. I wasn't sick. I was just throwing up from anxiousness and everything. And it had nothing to do with the virus or being in the lockdown or anything like that. And I had no control over it. And it was so scary, because I kept saying, I need to go to the hospital. I really need to go to the hospital. I was on the phone with my manager, and he's like, Noah, they, you know, you can't go to the hospital right now. And I understood that, and I was fine. And I was like, you're right, I'm going to be fine. But there were times where I was like really scared being alone in my house. And I was like waking up in the middle of the night, getting really sick. And I live far up on a hill with no reception. And like, there was just no way to call anybody. And it was really hard because my manager's in New York and my mom's, you know, down the road, but I'm not supposed to see her. And, you know, so it was just a lot. And I was having a lot of bad anxiety. And that was in a time that I was doing really well. And
Right.
whenever I got out of that after the 6 days, I was doing fine. And so it kind of depends on the situation and what's going on in my life, really. And I try to not really label where I'm at too much because I don't want to, like,
You don't want to jinx it almost.
Yeah. Or just, you know, say I'm good and not keep working on keeping myself healthy, you know, because there's times where sometimes I'm like, no, I'm good, and then I fall off a little bit, and it actually takes me back, you know, and that's why I like still do my therapy and stuff even whenever I'm feeling good, because I get so set back.
And that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to bring up too, because, you know, throughout your career from a very young age, you've been an advocate for all kinds of causes, especially mental health as of late. What would you say to somebody who might be going through some things, whether or not, you know, maybe just somebody who didn't really feel like they were depressed until lockdowns happened and the virus happened. And now this is a time where a lot of people are going through it in a way they've never gone through it before. And I've seen it happen with my friends, and I'm lucky to continue working. It kind of gives me a sense of normalcy. So it isn't necessarily for me, but for people who are kind of wondering, should I go see a teletherapist? You know, should I call a therapist and do a video chat or something like that? What kind of advice would you give to somebody for making those first steps?
I mean, I would say, you know, if you feel like wanting to reach out to a therapist or get help from a therapist, that's always amazing that like you're recognizing that and you're the one wanting to take action to do that, and that's always like a really cool step forward of recognition. Which I love therapy like so much. So like for me, I would always say therapy is one thing to not be embarrassed of or like to be afraid of. I actually really have come to like love it. And if you're not able to do that right now because of quarantine or FaceTime, or, you know, sometimes it's hard to like do that. And not everybody's capable of doing that. Having somebody, you know, that you can call, like for me, my two best friends that are here, my best friend Alexa that's in New York, like there's no one else that I can call like at another time, you know, that you know that just have your back. So like those people that you have on the phone are like, you know, I also can't be giving all the advice because like I'm still figuring it out too, and like I'm just as lost in like the quarantine as everybody else. But like I would say just focusing on things that you were doing before and shit that like you were gonna do a little later this year and whatnot, be preparing for it, and like then it'll be ready by the time you're there. And I don't know, just keep focused really is what I'm trying to do.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
I've got two more things for you because I know I don't want to hold you forever.
You're good.
We're all super busy, right?
Yeah, we're
not anymore.
We're slammed.
We are just it's to the wall all the time. But I wanted to ask about your overall creative process. And one, I think it's a very simple question. You know, you've talked about how you didn't want to go out on tour singing a record that you weren't all in or all the way kind of supportive of. You know, if it wasn't truly a Noah Cyrus record, you weren't going to feel good about going out and singing it every night, and you weren't going to feel good about finishing it and putting it out there. And, you know, you've been under pressure before to release music that maybe wasn't quite as authentic as you'd want. Are you a perfectionist when it comes to your music? Does it have to be, I guess, does it have to be perfect? Is that kind of the mindset?
No, it doesn't have to be okay, so I would be interested for you to ask my manager this question, because I'm actually like, am I? I don't know if I would say, I don't even know how to answer this question.
Sure.
But I'm going to try.
Okay.
Because I want to, like, I want to hear my answer, but I'm trying to explain that I'm not a perfectionist because most of the songs that you hear off of this EP coming out, and a lot of the songs that I have out now, none of them are mixed or mastered. So I would say in that way, like I'm not crazy like that. Like I usually like get them mixed and mastered, and then I'm like, oh, I don't like that, you know. So I put out like, you know, 2 of the songs are mastered off the EP, and the rest of them are literal cuts from the day that I left the studio. And so it's like weird stuff like that where I might be, I don't know, like I honestly, that's such a crazy question that like I really want to ask my manager, because like I can't tell if it's like me being a perfectionist or if I get like used to hearing something a certain way and then I like that certain way more. But usually, like say I'm like listening to a mix or something, like my best friend Brian, he's sitting in the corner, but like I will play him the mix and the master and be like, do you like this version or do you like this version? And it'll be the studio version, and he'll be like, that sounds better. And I'm like, well, then there's my point. Like, you know, so it really just depends. But like, I feel like I get like a pretty good ear for this type of stuff. And I also am very particular with like my harmonies and stuff. And I kind of have this like preset idea of how loud each one's going to sound whenever I record it. So maybe a little bit, but in a weird way, I would say, if that makes sense.
It does. Like, you're not a perfectionist as in the gritty technical, you know, it has to be mixed and limited to -5 decibels, and that's not what you go crazy about. It sounds like it's more of the artistic side. It's the left brain that you're.
It's more like, what does it sound like? To me, it's more, I just go off of like pure sound. You know what I mean? So like, I'll listen in 5 different cars, 2 different pairs of headphones, my Beats pill, and another speaker, and I just like listen off of a ton of different speakers until I'm like, okay. And then sometimes, you know, like I'll listen to it and my manager will be like, Noah, you're getting way too close to this, like just pick one. So I'll go back, I'll be like, okay, I'm sorry, and I'll go and I'll listen and I'll repick.
So I mean, I think I would love to ask that to your manager, or if you end up asking that, please, I mean, you know, put it out there somewhere.
I would love to know, because like I mean, in a way, maybe I'll ask my therapist. That's a good question for her. I'll be like, do you think I'm a perfectionist? Like, because I just don't, I mean, I don't think so, because I'm not crazy about stuff like that. I guess I like having things like done and like organized and ready. I'd say I'm more like OCD, but not like in like a where the music has to be organized. It's just like I need it the way that it sounded, and I'll remember the exact way it sounded, and it's like one little thing could be tweaked and like I'll notice.
So maybe to put like kind of a blanket statement, you know, here, we'll do this, true or false, okay? What I gather here is that you have a crystal clear vision. Is that kind of what it is?
Wait, you cut out at true or false.
Sorry. Okay, so a true or false, you have a crystal clear vision for what you want.
True.
Okay.
True.
Gotcha.
Crystal clear.
That is awesome. All right, last thing that I wanted to do together, Noah. Normally when we would bring artists here in Virginia Beach, we would take a photo together, but we can't do that. Could we do an Instagram live photo shoot? And what I would love to do is have the chat, which I had to turn the comments off, but I know they're listening. If they could screenshot whatever we're doing out here together, making all kinds of poses, I'll follow your lead. If they can screenshot it and DM it to us somewhere up there, is it this side or this side where the logo is? It's on one of those sides where our logo is.
That side.
Okay. So DM it to us there. I'm going to grab a couple of those and I'm going to post them. After we're done. So I will follow you when we've got, all right, so start with maybe duck face and not gonna lie, I think it works a little bit better with you than with me, but
it's okay. I think you look great.
Thank you, Noah. Well, I appreciate the time very much. It was good to kind of get to know you and your music. And is there anything else, I guess, that, you know, we should be looking forward to?
No, just stay home and stay safe, everybody.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you,
So,
Noah. I appreciate
later.
it a lot.
Bye, bro.
Bye. All right, Noah Cyrus in the books. The Hot 100 Live at Home series wraps up this week with, I thought that was a great conversation. I thought it was very deep. I thought it really it got into the nitty gritty of who she was. And we really we dove into the music. So I hope she feels the same. And I hope her manager takes on that question about whether or not she's a perfectionist, because that was a really interesting conversation to have. If you got screenshots while we were popping up the peace signs, then please send them to us or send them to me. My username is Waters on Air, like the plural of water. Waters, that's my last name. Waters on Air. Send them to me, send them to us. I'm going to put together a little compilation in a couple of minutes after I drive home about, hey, these are all the cool lives that we had. Thank you so much to all the artists this week. So I want to make sure that Noah's included in that, so please send them to me. I'm so glad that you guys came. I'm so glad that we had a good time together. And until next time, we go live on Instagram with somebody. I'll say my usual line. This is my trademark right here. Peace amongst worlds.